I am 84 years old, and I need to tell you something that might save your life. For 67 years, I fought an invisible war inside my mind, a war I didn't even know I was fighting. They told me it was a weakness. They told me to man up. They told me it was all in my head, and technically they were right. It was in my head, but not the way they meant it. Depression isn't what they told you. It's not what they told me. And by the time I figured out the truth, I had already lost most of my life. Don't let that be you. If you're watching this right now and you feel like something inside you is broken, like you're drowning in an ocean while everyone else is breathing just fine, like you're screaming in a room full of people and nobody can hear you, please keep watching. Because what I'm about to tell you took me 8 decades to learn. And I don't want you to waste another day believing the same lies I did. My name is Robert, and this is my confession, my warning, my gift to you. When I was 17 years old in 1958, something happened to me that I couldn't explain. I woke up one morning and the world had changed, not the actual world, but the way I saw it. Everything looked different, darker, heavier, like someone had turned down the brightness on life itself. I remember walking to school that day, and my best friend Tommy was talking to me about the baseball game we had coming up. I loved baseball. It was my whole world. But that morning, listening to him talk, I felt nothing, absolutely nothing. It was like all the color had drained out of my life overnight. I went home and I couldn't eat dinner. My mother made my favorite meal, pot roast with mashed potatoes, and I just stared at it. She asked me what was wrong. I said I didn't know, and that was the truth. I had no idea what was happening to me. The next morning, I couldn't get out of bed. Not because I was tired, but because I couldn't see the point. What was the point of getting up? What was the point of going to school? What was the point of anything? These thoughts terrified me because I had never thought them before. My father came into my room. He was a World War II veteran, a tough man, a good man, but a man of his time. He looked at me and said, "Son, I don't know what's gotten into you, but you need to snap out of it. Life is hard. You think I want to go to the factory every day? You think your mother wants to cook and clean? We do it because that's what you do. Now get up." So I got up, I pushed through, and for the next 67 years, that's what I did. I pushed through, I survived, but I never lived. Not really. Here's what nobody told me in 1958. Here's what the doctors didn't know, what my parents couldn't understand, what society refused to acknowledge. I had clinical depression, a chemical imbalance in my brain, a medical condition as real as diabetes or a broken leg. But unlike a broken leg, you couldn't see it, so people assumed it wasn't real. I got married at 24 to a woman named Catherine. Beautiful, kind, patient. She deserved so much better than what I could give her. We had 3 children, Sarah, Michael, and Daniel. I love them. God, I love them so much. But depression is a thief. It steals your ability to feel that love fully. It's like watching your life through foggy glass. There were birthday parties where I was physically present but emotionally absent. There were Christmas mornings when I forced a smile while dying inside. There were nights Catherine would reach for my hand and I would feel nothing but numbness. Not because I didn't love her, but because depression had hijacked my brain's ability to process emotion. I built a career as an accountant. Numbers made sense to me. They were logical, predictable, unlike the chaos in my mind. I would sit at my desk balancing spreadsheets while inside I was falling apart. My coworkers thought I was quiet, reserved, professional. They had no idea I was using every ounce of strength I had just to stay alive. Because here's the thing about depression that nobody tells you. It's not just sadness. Sadness is when something bad happens and you feel appropriate grief. Depression is when nothing bad happens and you want to die anyway. Depression is waking up with a heavy weight on your chest for no reason. It's losing interest in everything you used to love. It's feeling like you're watching your life happen to someone else. And the worst part? The guilt. The crushing, suffocating guilt of knowing you have a good life, a loving family, a stable job, and still feeling empty. Still feeling like you're not enough. Still feeling like everyone would be better off without you. I had my first serious suicidal thought when I was 34 years old. I was driving home from work and I thought about just keeping the car going, straight off the bridge into the river. It would look like an accident. My family would get the life insurance. They'd be sad, but they'd move on. They'd be okay. Better than okay. Better off. I didn't do it, not because I was strong, but because I was a coward. Too scared to live, too scared to die, trapped in between. That thought terrified me so much that I buried it. I never told anyone, not Catherine, not my doctor, not even myself, really. I just pushed it down and kept going, kept surviving, kept pretending. The 1960s came and went, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, decades blurred together in a gray haze. I watched my children grow up. I was there for their graduations, their weddings, the births of my grandchildren, but I was never fully there. Depression made sure that. Catherine died in 2014. We had been married for 52 years, and in those 52 years, I never once told her the truth about what was happening inside my mind. She knew I struggled. She knew I had dark days, but she never knew how dark. She never knew how many times I had thought about ending it. She never knew because I never told her. Because men of my generation didn't talk about these things. After she died, I fell apart. Completely. The structure that had been holding me together for decades was gone. I stopped eating, stopped showering, stopped answering the phone when my kids called. I would sit in my chair for hours, staring at nothing, waiting to die. My daughter Sarah found me one day. She had driven 3 hours because I hadn't returned her calls for a week. She walked in and saw me, this 76-year-old man, unwashed, unfed, surrounded by empty rooms and full memories, and she started crying. She said, "Dad, please, I can't lose you too." Something about seeing my daughter cry broke through the fog, not completely, but enough. Enough for me to agree when she said she was taking me to see someone, a therapist, a psychiatrist. I didn't want to go. I was 76 years old. What was the point? But I went. For her. That appointment changed my life. The doctor, a young woman probably in her 40s, listened to me talk for an hour. I told her things I had never told anyone about the emptiness, the numbness, the decades of just going through the motions, the thoughts of suicide, everything. When I finished, she looked at me with the kindest eyes and said, "Mr. Robert, you have been suffering from severe clinical depression for most of your life, and I am so sorry that nobody helped you sooner." Those words, I cannot describe what they did to me. It was like someone had finally given a name to the monster that had been chasing me for 60 years. Like it wasn't me, it wasn't weakness, it wasn't a character flaw, it was an illness, a chemical imbalance in my brain. And it was treatable. She started me on medication, antidepressants. I was skeptical. I had spent my whole life believing that pills were for weak people who couldn't handle life, but I was desperate, so I took them. It took about 6 weeks, and then one morning I woke up and something was different. The weight on my chest was lighter, not gone, but lighter. I made myself breakfast and I actually tasted it. I looked out the window and noticed the trees were beautiful. When had they gotten so beautiful? I started therapy, real therapy, twice a week, learning things about my brain, about depression, about trauma, and coping mechanisms and neuroplasticity. Things I wish I had learned when I was 17 instead of 76. I learned that depression is not a choice. You cannot think your way out of it any more than you can think your way out of cancer. I learned that medication is not a crutch, it's a tool, like glasses for someone who can't see or insulin for someone with diabetes. I learned that asking for help is not weakness, it's wisdom. I'm 84 now. I've been in treatment for 8 years, and these 8 years have been more alive than the previous 76 combined. I feel things now, real things. Joy when my grandchildren visit. Sadness when I remember Catherine, but a healthy sadness, not the crushing despair. Peace, actual peace. But here's why I'm making this video. Here's why I'm telling you, a stranger on the internet, the most painful parts of my story, because I lost 67 years. 67 years of my life were stolen by an illness I didn't know I had. And I don't want that to happen to you. The world has changed since I was young. We talk about mental health now. We understand depression better. We have better treatments, better medications, better therapy, but there's still stigma. There are still people suffering in silence because they're ashamed or scared, or they think they should be strong enough to handle it alone. If you are struggling with depression, please hear me. You are not weak. You are sick. And sick people need treatment, not judgment. You wouldn't tell someone with a broken leg to just walk it off. Don't tell yourself to just think positive and get over depression. Talk to someone, a doctor, a therapist, a trusted friend, anyone. Use the resources that didn't exist when I was young, therapy apps, online counseling, support groups, crisis hotlines. There's help available. Please reach out and grab it. Try medication if your doctor recommends it. It might take time to find the right one. It might take adjusting doses, but it can work. It worked for me at 76. Imagine what it could do for you if you start now. Be patient with yourself. Healing is not linear. There will be good days and bad days, but with help, there will be more good days than bad. I promise you that. And if you're thinking about suicide, please call a crisis line. Talk to someone. Wait, because that thought, that feeling that the world would be better without you, that's the depression talking. That's the illness lying to you. And it is a lie. I think about all the moments I missed because I was trapped in the fog of untreated depression. My son's first words, my daughter's graduation speech, quiet mornings with Catherine, sunsets, laughter, connection, life. I can't get those moments back, but you can still have yours. Don't wait until you're 84 to start fighting for your life. Start today, right now. Depression isn't what they told you. It's not weakness or laziness, bad attitude. It's a medical condition that requires medical treatment, and with the right help, you can get better. You can feel joy again. You can live again. Really live. I'm proof of that. Even at 84, even after all those lost years, I'm finally living, and if I can do it, so can you. Please don't give up. Please get help. Your life is worth fighting for. You are worth fighting for. It took me 84 years to realize the truth about depression. Don't let it take you that long, too.